Hello, everybody. Thank you to everyone who made a VR for the 2022 Eddy Gives Back giveaway. We're just going to go over the names on the wheel here quickly. If you don't see your name, somehow I missed you, please accept my apology and hit me up. We have about 24 hours before the actual giveaway. So I hope and pray I didn't miss anybody. But that happened last year. That's why Mr. Fisher Bike has this free spot here. So it's been known to happen. Free spot for Mr. Fisher Bike. Alan Twitchell, you did a thing on the AFL, which was a really neat to have a different take on things. And I appreciate that. Another YouTuber recently did a thing on the AFL, and I've been learning a lot about the AFL and previously hadn't known all that much at all. Boston fan did David Cohn, and I thought I'd pull this. He mentioned he wrote a really great letter to David Cohn, and David Cohn usually charges $40. But if you write a really good letter, David Cohn will sign for free. And I happened to watch David Cohn's next start after his perfect game at Safeco Field. It was my very first game at Safeco, and he was every bit as dominant then, well, almost as dominant in his start after his perfect game than he was in his perfect game. I had mentioned that, and apparently he liked that I had all those details. For Soft Corners, he did a thing on Rick Ankiel. Thank you very much. I remember that whole saga very well, even watching the NLCS, NLDS, where he had the meltdown. And it was really great to see that he made a comeback. So I have one card as a pitcher with the Cardinals. Shout out to you. And as a hitter, love this action shot on this card. For those of you that are really great game investigators, you might even be able to figure out exactly what game that's from. I do that kind of thing sometimes, but only when I really care. God is great. You had a great story about a young friend with cancer that you helped him overcome that. I thought that was fantastic. Thank you. Concrete Buddy, you did a video on James Braddock. Now, I don't have any James Braddock cards. I'm looking into that. But I do have the Max Baer Sr., and Max Baer is who he defeated to regain the title after being essentially homeless with a broken hand. Tremendous video, learned a lot. Still have not watched Cinderella Man. I've known about the movie since it came out. I just, for some reason, it's one of those ones I just can't seem to get around to, but I'm going to make it a point. John Mangini, loved your hello, everybody. That just filled my heart with absolute joy. And thanks for sharing the story of John Hiller. Another one I didn't know about. Peter B. did a Tony Canigliaro. And boy, that SI cover is really, it's shocking to see it. I happen to have his rookie card here, 64. I've never got this signed, even though he TTMs. I can't bring myself to send him $60 that he wants when there's Hall of Famers I can get for way less. So that'll be one. It just never gets done, unfortunately. Pardon the sniffles. I'm fighting off a cold here today. Caleb's Cards, TTMs, and more. Great story about Andres Galarraga fighting off lymphoma. I didn't remember that happened. I remember all of Galarraga's career well, but I don't remember that. I found this really cool Pinnacle card. Look at the bat, just holding the handle. And hard as it is to hit a broken bat home run, he probably did it there. Look at his angle. It was a frozen roper. Love that card. Continuing down the list here, my friend Emac from Canada did his very first video. Thank you, Eric. Terry Fox, Pride of Canada, great story. I was not familiar with that story. Three Good Nerds. Everyone's heard of Pele. Everyone knows who he is and that he passed, but there was so much I didn't know. Thank you for the education, and I'm really a bigger fan now than I was even before. Elite Hunters, Dwight Gooden, another saga I remember well. Um, Really good ESPN 30 for 30 on them, and I remember it's probably been 10 years since I've seen it, but him describing waking up from his stupor and seeing the very end of the '86 World Series parade on TV as he was kind of coming to, just has stayed with me. But thanks for sharing that. And this is one of the very favorite Stadium Club autographs that I have. The minute I pulled this, I knew I was getting this signed, and got it done probably 3-4 years ago through a private signing. And I have a lot of Stadium Club autographs, probably 400, but this is one of my top five or so. Love the doc. Okay, continuing down. Megan TT Hobbies, Levi Prater. Not someone I was familiar with, but gave some great background on how he lost part of his hand, and he's still trying to make it to the show. I hope he does. SFI Sports Cards, Herb Score, another person I was familiar with part of their story. I knew about the comebacker that took him out and put him on the shelf and essentially gave him the yips. And I knew he wasn't broadcasting for decades for the Indians, but I didn't know about all that other stuff. I'm happy enough to have his action packed for my set, which is really a heavy focus on me for the first quarter this year. But I've had this one probably 10 years. Love that card. Love Herb Score. What do we got left here? Pepino Man did Tommy John. Love how you did your presentation without saying who it was. You gave all your background, and honestly, it took me a little longer than I had hoped to figure it out, but I did. And my son would just happen to be in the room because I was watching it on the TV. And when you shared the card, was it a 77? I'm forgetting. But it was the pose, just throwing the ball, and then the ball was in his glove, and we both laughed at that pretty hard. I had never seen that before, but that was fantastic. Here is the 64 Tommy John with Bob Chance. Didn't realize it till today, but I have 2 of those, so good for me, I guess. Ground Shuck, thank you for the video on Rocky Blyer. I love it when we recognize those that served for us and made that extra sacrifice that they didn't have to make. I have 3 really cool Rocky Blyer things here. This, I believe EMAC gave this to me. Someone gave it to me. It's Allen and Ginter jersey or uniform. And then I sent to him TTM before and got these 2 cards back. And I really cherish those. Very happy to have those. We're getting there. Don't Talk to Robots, Doug. You did a thing on Darryl Strawberry, very similar to Gooden. If you know Gooden's story, you know Strawberry's story. And most people think of Strawberry as a Met, of course. But I really love this Denny's Grand Slam card because I'm a sucker for the holograms. Check it. Oh, I'm losing focus. I'm hologramming too much. There's that. This thing's beat up, but I still keep it with my... A lot of us probably have like a section of a box. It's like cards that don't fit in your PC but you love, and that's where that straw man is from. Your brother, Flying Dutchman Cards. He pulled out 3 on me. Pitchers that were retired, that made a comeback or tried to make a comeback, and really tied them all together for the most part very beautifully. Jim Palmer, I remember his comeback well. There's a Stadium Club. Jose Rio. Wishing I had his autograph. Just haven't got to it yet. Another Stadium Club. And Dave Steeb, who we actually discussed his Secret Base documentary when I met you last summer over a sandwich. And I went home, and over the next couple days, because the thing's like 4 hours long, I watched it, and I always liked Dave Steeb, but I became an even bigger Dave Steep fan. If you have 4 hours and you want to become a bigger Dave Steep fan than you are, here's a link to the Secret Base documentary, and have a blast. What can I say? I think that's it. If I missed you, let me know. If not, who knows? You'll be at the top of the wheel next year with a sniffling apology, just like Jason is here. See you in about 24 hours. Good luck. And until then, remember, we don't count subscribers, we count friends.